A season which saw the two Brits, Hamilton and Gray, battle it out, nose to tail. He's got the straight line speed guns here with the DRS. He's going to go up the inside, going to pull off a similar move to what Alonso did earlier on the Grand Prix, forcing us off the track ever so slightly there, forcing us onto the curb. And Hamilton's actually going to try and hang it around the outside, but no he doesn't. Freddie does very well there. We saw some thrilling races in 2015, but it all came down to one final battle. He runs a little bit wide. Now Lewis Hamilton's going to go round the outside of Freddie here. Is he going to succeed in doing so? But no, he actually crashed into the back of Jules Bianchi. Why did Lewis Hamilton do that? He just crashed straight into the back of the Marussia driver. I think this is the lap that Lewis Hamilton is due into the pits.
Hamilton is pitting now. One final push now, Freddie. Come on.
Could quite easily spin out one of these corners. Now Lewis Hamilton is up into third place here. He's passed Daniel Ricciardo, so now he's going to be closing in on Freddie and Nico Rosberg. Freddie really struggling on his tyres, getting so much over, so really struggling for any sort of grip. Now going into the final corner, Nico Rosberg tries to make it out the inside, but it's that Lewis Hamilton behind. He's actually lost front wing. No, he's in second place. Lewis Hamilton got out of jail thanks to his teammate Nico Rosberg, and Freddie Gray was left absolutely heartbroken as he missed his best opportunity yet. There was no time for sulking, as 2016 was set to be the biggest year yet. Freddie had 3 offers on the table: Ferrari, Williams and McLaren Honda. Testing for the upcoming 2016 season is now underway, and all the drivers and cars have been unveiled. New Boys Hasselborn announced ex-Lotus driver Romain Grosjean and Mexican Esteban Gutierrez as drivers for their 2016 campaign. Red Bull adopts the revised livery and announced Daniel Ricciardo and Daniel Kvyat. Renault ditched Maldonado and brought in Kevin Magnussen and 2014 GP2 champion Jolyon Palmer. Sauber introduced the C35 along with rookie Felipe Nasr and Swede Marcus Ericsson. Manor announced Pascal Wehrlein along with their Mercedes engine deal, with Rio Haryanto taking the second seat. Ex-Ferrari man Fernando Alonso decided to switch teams to McLaren Honda after a fallout with the Ferrari team. Partnering him will be Jenson Button. Force India have kept faith in both Nico Hülkenberg and Sergio Perez for 2016. Toro Rosso announced an extremely young but talented lineup in the form of 18-year-old Max Verstappen and 21-year-old Carlos Sainz Jr. Mercedes stuck with the same lineup for the 4th consecutive year in the hope of another dominant season. Williams retained Massa and Bottas after impressive performances last season. After much speculation, Freddie Gray put pen to paper at Ferrari, with Sebastian Vettel joining alongside him. So guys, it is as simple as that. Freddie Gray will be driving for Ferrari alongside Sebastian Vettel in this 2016 modded season. Guys, if you are interested in the mod, it hasn't actually been released yet, but the guy that created it was NRL Kibitza. A link to his YouTube channel will be in the description down below, so please go and check him out and subscribe to his channel. I will very much appreciate it. But here is a feature which I included at the beginning of most episodes in the Freddie Gray series. A little GTA intro here of Freddie in his life, what he gets up to in between races, and obviously this time it is what he got up to in pre-season. So guys, just go with it. It's just something a little bit different that I decided to include in this series, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. Success. Just your casual police chase. And if that doesn't faze Freddy, I don't think anything ever will. And here's Freddy just catching up with Neil from the In-Betweeners, you know, as you do. Well, this is slightly awkward, slightly problematic. We appear to be sinking as our boat's engine has completely decided to shut down, so we are kind of screwed at the moment. Yep, that will solve things, without a doubt. Oh my word, what is going on here? I think we may as well just stop this now before this goes on for too long, guys. So yes, let's go to Melbourne. So guys, we're now ready to start the Freddie Gray career mode here on F1 2014 using an F1 2016 mod. Partnering us this season in the Ferrari will obviously be Sebastian Vettel. 19 races to conquer this season, the first one here in Albert Park, Melbourne. This weekend guys, it will only be a 25% race. It's a bit of a long story, but unfortunately I could only do 15 laps for this first Grand Prix. The rest of the races will all be 50% or maybe even some 100% races along the way, including Monaco and Britain. But guys, the attention is now all around the first qualifying of this 2016 season. So for the first time this year, let's get into the qualifying report. As the first qualifying session of the season got underway, the big question was, who had tuned their car up best for the big occasion? American outfit Haas F1 team got off to the best possible start as both drivers qualified in the top 10. Renault and Manor were the main strugglers in qualifying, with both teams occupying the back two rows. Sauber clawed out lap times good enough for 16th and 18th. Force India were disappointed with 11th and 13th for Perez and Hulkenberg respectively. Fernando Alonso excelled in his McLaren Honda and was able to set a lap time good enough for 4th, but Button was left in the lowly 17th place. It was a similar story at Toro Rosso, with Carlos Sainz Jr. being the surprise of qualifying after securing 5th. Daniel Kvyat was able to get one over his teammate after qualifying in 6th, one place ahead of the Australian. Williams enjoyed an average day with Massa and Bottas qualifying 8th and 12th respectively. Freddie Gray had a horror show and couldn't put a lap together, meaning he only qualified 15th. Vettel secured 2nd place. It was the reigning champion Lewis Hamilton who sealed pole position by 0.03 of a second. Rosberg was 2/10 back in 3rd. So it was Lewis Hamilton who stamps his authority on the rest of the field, but there's no doubt that Sebastian Vettel and Nico Rosberg will give him a good run for his money in the race tomorrow. But the main question on everybody's mind is, will Freddie Gray pull off another one of his amazing comeback drives? It is time for the Australian Grand Prix.
Okay, let's put last year behind us. This is your year, Freddie. Come on.
Exactly as our engineer just said there, guys, this is our year, Freddie Gray's year, to win his first World Drivers' Championship of 2016, as we are now underway here to kick things off for round 1 of the season here at Melbourne, Australia, getting off to a good start in comparison to Max Verstappen on our right-hand side. Now heading down into turn 1, we're going to take the outside line here, going to be very cautious. Perez is in fact blocking us off and preventing us from moving up into a higher position. However, Hulkenberg and Romain Grosjean behind us has completely backed off on the outside of turn 2, meaning we're now up to P11, only one place outside the points. But now Ricciardo is blocking us off here, heading down to turn 3, and Hulkenberg and Jensen Button, in fact, has retaken the position. Button qualifying all the way down to P17, so he's gotten off to an absolutely incredible start by now overtaking, or re-overtaking back Nico Hulkenberg around the outside of turn 4, now heading down into turn 6. Currently in P11, obviously one place outside the points. There's been a crash ahead. Perez completely crashing into the back. I think it was Gutierrez, and we seem to get locked in somebody's car there. I think that was Jensen Button's, and then we've lost loads of positions as a result, from Grosjean, Ericsson and Valtteri Bottas all the way down to P14. But we've already lost one car from this race, guys, and that was obviously Sergio Perez, who pulled off the side of the track out of the exit of turn 6 after crashing into his compatriot Esteban Gutierrez. Now we're going around the outside of Valtteri Bottas here, guys, after he got a poor exit out of turn 8. So now we're going to go around the outside of him, heading into turn 10 at lemon chicane. As Verstappen crashes right into the back of Romain Grosjean. Verstappen, a huge accident there, and indeed the safety car has been deployed as both cars retired from the race, both Verstappen and also Romain Grosjean. But what a manic start this has been, guys. Safety car deployed already. Let's just take a look at a replay of this start. Absolutely crazy scenes here so far in the first episode of the Freddie Gray career mode. Actually, our start initially was actually okay, managing to go around the outside of Verstappen into turn 1, as well as Bottas, Hulkenberg and also Romain Grosjean. But then Ricciardo blocked us off into turn 3. We managed to regain those positions at the expense of Hulkenberg, going up the inside of him there into turn 5. Now heading into turn 6, this is where the crash between Sergio Perez and Esteban Gutierrez happened. You could see we actually got locked into Jensen Button's car, because we locked up at sort of the site of Perez crashing or pulling off to the side, and then we came back onto the racing line. Button was there. Lucky that didn't result in a further accident.
Okay, we're going to revert to plan C, box at the end of this lap. Some teams may try something similar.
So that's actually a very interesting strategy call there. Lap 3 for Freddy's first pit stop. Obviously, the Ferrari team must have had this planned in the event of a safety car. So this is very strange indeed to be pitting this early on lap 3. We've got to see if some other cars try anything similar to us, because the engineer did say that some other teams may try something similar and pit in on the same lap as us. So we may have some cars doing some very sort of unusual, unique strategies here around Melbourne, Australia. Normally this would be a 2-stop race, I'd say, for a 25% race. but we could be perhaps seeing a 3-stop race day, and so a very large number of pit stops. The safety car is now in, and it actually does seem as if loads of other cars are into the pits. Our teammate Sebastian Vettel carrying on the pit straight, and Freddie decided to do the opposite of what Ericsson did here. That's what he had in his mind at this moment in time. He wasn't going to really listen to the team because he was sort of unsure of whether this strategy was actually going to work or not. But you can see behind him, he's got a Renault, a Sauber, and also a Manor coming into the pit lane with him. Onto the prime tyres now, so this should hopefully bring us to around lap 11. We can go on the Optimum tyres for 4 laps at the end for the final stint of the Grand Prix, which should hopefully give us some supreme pace over the guys ahead. But guys, the question is now, will it actually work out for us? Will the cars ahead get a big overcut, or will we be able to manage an undercut here? Obviously, the guys ahead who got released from the safety car earlier will have been able to get up to speed before we did, so maybe we've made a bit of a mistake here. We've just got to wait and see here, guys, see how it all pans out. We have rejoined behind Daniel Ricciardo and ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, so we haven't really lost much time in the pit stop, despite being held up slightly in our pit box by the Manor racing car of Rio Haryanto. Now skipping on to the end of lap 4, guys, we have slightly closer than Ricciardo, but now lots of other cars are pitting. This Jensen Button sets the fastest lap of the race in McLaren Honda. Unbelievable pace there from the McLaren team. Clearly have made improvements this year, but that is Ericsson who's got the overcut on both me and Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo going so slowly, we're having to go off the track there, but we have actually pulled off the move round the outside of Ricciardo there. What a move that was. Just about, I'd say, staying within the track limits, maybe going off slightly.
That's a great move on Ricciardo, mate. Next up is Ericsson.
Yes, indeed, it was a brilliant move on Daniel Ricciardo. Next up is our rival, Marcus Ericsson. Not rival in terms of track battling. We've had a lot of history with Marcus Ericsson in the past. Now, looking at that move on Daniel Ricciardo, we've really had nowhere to go, guys. Otherwise, I would have just crashed straight into the back of him. And obviously, with realistic damage on this game, I do not want to lose my front wing this early on into the stint. But now, Freddy is bearing down on the Sauber of Marcus Ericsson. Currently, we're going 5.9 seconds quicker than our previous lap time, obviously, because we pitted in last lap, going up the inside of Ericsson. Now, Ericsson backing off slightly, making a little bit of contact with him as he comes back into the track. Serves you right, mate, for all the incidents we've had over the past couple of years in this career. Let's have a look at a replay of that now. I don't think we actually really made much contact with Ericsson actually making the move itself. It was just a little bit of contact out of the exit of the corner once we were already ahead. So let's have a look now. Going up the inside, Ericsson decides to run out wide. We cut him off, as we should do, and we are now up into P11. Now actually P9, because 2 cars have retired from the race and the safety car has been deployed for the 2nd time.
Right, safety car has been deployed. The 2 Mercedes have collided. Hamilton and Rosberg are both out.
The absolute scenes, guys. The 2 Mercedes cars are out of the race. Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg have had a collision here in the Australian Grand Prix. Absolutely unbelievable. Putting it down to Limix once again. We are up into P9 behind the Haas F1 car of Esteban Gutierrez, but Freddie must be absolutely jumping around that cockpit, hearing that the 2 guys that basically made him lose the championship last year have crashed out of the races. Gutierrez brake checks us, and now we're going to have to pit in again. That was absolute stupidity there from Esteban Gutierrez, completely brake checking us there, and we're having to pit in now unnecessarily for a 2nd pit stop. We're all so joyous about Hamilton and Rosberg crashing out of the race, but now we're having to pit in again for a 2nd pit stop, and the team has put us on Optimum tyres. That means we have to do 3 pit stops today, guys. But it is interesting how every other car seems to be pitting in with us as well, so this is actually probably a 3-stop race, guys. I think with the mod that I've installed, the tyre wear is a lot higher than normal, so we will be seeing races like this quite often with an excessive amount of pit stops. But nonetheless, guys, we are still in P13, remaining behind Esteban Gutierrez despite the front wing change, and Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull still behind us in P40. So we haven't really lost much time here, guys. Obviously with the safety car we will catch up to Gutierrez, but now interestingly, a load of other cars are pitting in a lap later, which is kind of strange to say the least, guys, that the safety car has seemingly messed up those guys' strategy, but I don't think it really matters for them. They'll be on slightly fresher tyres than ourselves. They may have the pace advantage once the safety car comes in very soon, so let's see when that'll be. That could be this lap.
Safety car's in this lap. Try and get Gutierrez on the restart. He's on a similar strategy to us.
So it seems as if Gutierrez is running a very similar strategy to us, so it's absolutely crucial here, guys, that we overtake the Mexican driver. But it's also important to note that the top 3 are now pitting in. How strange could this race actually get? So Sebastian Vettel, our teammate, Ferrari have completely screwed him over with the strategy today. I don't know why he's pitting in at this point in the Grand Prix, but Freddy's now up to P5. And who knows where he could finish now? He could even finish in P1. It looks like Jensen Button is currently leading the Australian Grand Prix in the McLaren Honda. Who would have thought that heading into this race? We set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 29 dead, guys. So this is set to be a very tense, unpredictable finish here, guys. Obviously setting that fast lap, that purple lap time, a 29 dead. Who knows where we could finish at the end of this race, guys? First place you can see is only a few seconds up the road. It could quite easily get to happen here, guys. We are really closing up on Esteban Gutierrez, Carlos Sainz, and I believe it's also Felipe Massa and Jensen Button ahead. Honestly, guys, who would have predicted the top 5 would end up like this at some point in the race? Absolutely crazy, guys, it's been today. But as you can see ahead, these guys are really bunching up.
We're going to advise putting it up into mix 3. Button, Sainz and Gutierrez are pitting.
Indeed, they all are. The top 3, well, 2nd, 3rd and 4th are now pitting in. Button, Sainz and Gutierrez. It seems that Felipe Massa actually overtook Jensen Button a couple of laps ago. So Massa really seems to be on the pace here, guys. We're putting up into rich mix because we could quite easily win this Grand Prix if we can catch up with Felipe Massa and really pump in the laps.
Alright, so unfortunately Seb has had a crash. The safety car is now back out. Box this lap.
And just to put another spanner in the works, we've got a 3rd safety car in this race because now Sebastian Vettel, our teammate, has unfortunately crashed out of the Grand Prix. We're pitting in now for the final pit stop to go onto some fresh tyres to hopefully catch up to the Williams of Felipe Massa. He's pitting in just ahead of us here, putting on now a set of option tyres to round out this race, guys. What an opening round this has been so far, and first place is yet to be decided. What an Australian Grand Prix this has been today. Absolutely incredible so far, and we still have 3 more laps in which anything can happen. I believe at the moment the effective order is Massa, ourselves and Jolyon Palmer, currently the top 3. Boss has just gone through there, but he hasn't pitted yet. For some reason he's staying out for another lap. No idea why. He's completely wrecked his own race. Now he has indeed pitted in, but this is now, guys, a 2-lap battle that is about to commence between Felipe Massa and Freddie Gray.
Okay, Freddy, now it's a 2-lap sprint to chase down Massa. You got this.
Perfectly put by our engineer there. It's a 2-lap sprint now. Who will win this Australian Grand Prix? Will it be Freddie Gray or will it be the Williams of Felipe Massa? The safety car is obviously coming in this lap. Let's try and get a good exit out of the final corner here to try and overtake Massa. We get a huge amount of wheel spin there out of the final corner. Massa is already pulling away in the Williams Martini, and Palmer is actually closing in on us here, guys. So this restart has not gone to plan at all, and already the gap to Felipe Massa is 9 tenths per second. So we're going to have to really do something special here, guys, if we are to catch up with the Williams driver and overhaul him and win this Australian Grand Prix. But obviously there are still 2 laps to go here, obviously, in which anything can happen. Taking a purple sector in sector 2 there, but on to the beginning of lap 14, still not really closing on Massa enough, guys, and that was unfortunately the end of the race. Massa was just too quick for us in the end, but still, what a recovery drive. It is P2 for Freddie Gray.
Unlucky in the end, mate. A great recovery drive nonetheless. Let's look to make Bahrain that little bit better. Well done.
Indeed, obviously, 2nd place from 15th on the grid is a pretty phenomenal achievement. Finishing in 2nd place behind the Williams of Felipe Massa, who's really stamping his authority on the rest of the field, really showing that he could perhaps be a contender for this year's championship. Look at that from Jolyon Palmer, a podium from him, after starting 21st. Unbelievable. Jensen Button in 4th, Carlos Sainz in 5th, Alonso 6th, Gutierrez 7th, Ricciardo 8th, Magnussen 9th, and Felipe Massa rounding out the top 10 of Verline, just missing out on points. So what a first race that was, guys. Felipe Massa obviously leads the Drivers' Championship. The Drivers' Championship is a true reflection of the race results. So as you can see, the top 10 remain as they are in the Drivers' Championship. But interestingly, the Constructors' Championship is as follows. Williams lead with 25 points. McLaren Honda in 2nd with both their cars in the points. Ferrari are in 3rd. Obviously, Freddy's 18 points contributing to that. Renault Sport F1 team in 4th place with 17 points as a result of Palmer's podium and Magnussen's 9th place. Haas F1 getting off to the mark with 6 points in 6th place as a result of Gutierrez. Red Bull in 7th thanks to Ricciardo's 8th place. They're exceeding 4 points in the first round. Sauber getting off to the mark with just a single point. Felipe Massa achieving the only point for Sauber in today's Australian Grand Prix. Ericsson in the end retiring from the race after colliding with Sebastian Vettel. Manor Racing just missing out on points with Pascal Wehrlein. I'm sure they will score points as the season progresses. Force India both outside the points. Perez's crash early on lap 1 and Hulkenberg finishing in 12th. And obviously the Mercedes collision. Them both both retiring from the race, and as a result, Mercedes are bottom of the Constructors' Championship. I highly doubt we'll see that come the end of the year, guys, but you never know what will happen. If you have enjoyed this first episode, guys, please do leave a like rating. I will really appreciate it. It's taken me a long time to make this video, and hopefully it's worth it. I know you guys have been waiting for so long now, and just hopefully everything has all gone to plan. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video and will watch the future episodes in this 19 race season. So yeah, guys, I will see you next time for Bahrain. Bye bye.